Okay, quick wrap up because I'm getting ready to start my weekend here. My first call of the day, actually my only official call using our announcements feature, was BTU. On this pullback, other calls were ripping, like WLT caught my attention. Started looking for sympathy plays, BTU. Great support near 30. Thought it might follow WLT. Ended up calling BTU at 30.26, right over this, right about here. I don't have my drawing tool going, but 30.26. Stop down here below. I think it was about 20 something cents risk. And over the next 15-20 minutes, from 30.26, BTU went to 30.70. Now, just to be fair, the stop was down here. So you can look here and say, well, the stop never got hit, and that's true, okay? But I sold some quickly. I sold my another third somewhere up here. I don't have the right numbers in front of me, and again, I just want to start my weekend. And then apparently they came out in the middle of the day and released earnings, scared everybody. Comes down and took out my final stop that I had moved to break even. Usually, if I'm out 2/3, which means two different sells, I will move my last third to break even. I've created a mess on this chart, and got stopped out here. Didn't hit the original stop, so I suppose I could say, I could call this the high after I entered, but I didn't. I said today, if you went grocery shopping, if you took this long, went grocery shopping and just left your stop in place, and you were at the store while this happened, and then you came home right here, you had a great trade. But otherwise, I still had a nice trade. Again, a sell, and then a flat on the rest. Who knew they were going to throw earnings out there in the middle of the day? All right, having said that, I have some other stuff to talk about. That was the only official call that I used the announcements feature in a pop-up. As you know, if you watched any of our videos recently, we've allocated all-star status to a few of our proven long-time members that have just been really, really solid traders, and so that they, like myself, have a different colored font now, and their posts chime. So it's almost the same as when I alert something. Much easier to see now for the other members. In the All-Star group, man, just getting nothing but rave reviews, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. Couple things I want to mention that early on, every once in a while, and one of our members tells me my mentions, if you want to call it a mention, or some of my best calls, I mentioned CLNE. This was 5-minute candles opening. I said it's got support here. I projected this live when it looked like this. You had a nice base back here. It had bounced off this area back here. These are 5-minute candles, and then was selling down to this area again. I said this could give a nice fives turn, meaning the first break of a previous 5-minute candle's high, stop below the low, and that would have worked. It would have been somewhere around 22.60, and it went almost to 22.20. So that was one of my mentions that I'm not going to put on the results page. But if I see something, I'm trying to become more adamant about letting it fly out my mouth and maybe showing it on a chart, even if the market has me uncomfortable at the moment and I'm not willing to call it. Some of them still pan out nicely, and that was one of mine. Another one was RIG. RIG had been beaten up for several days after gapping up, okay? So when RIG gapped up this morning and put in a very nice stair-step fives pattern, consecutive lower highs to a moving average, little green candle there, I said RIG might work on a long fives, which means above this candle's high, 55.24, and it went right through the high of the day all the way through 55.80. Again, that wasn't an official call, but it sure gave a nice pop. Wasn't a call though. Let's see what else. Lionsgate. They're making that Hunger Games, which debuts today. Lionsgate. Somebody asked me about it when it looked like this. I said I didn't trust it yet. Then when it came down here, I started to like it. Okay. I said I want to use 15-minute candles on this one, which means over this red candle's high right here was my long idea. 14.14 with a 13.95 stop. Boom. Again, it wasn't official in the announcements. It was my verbal idea, and from 14.14 it did make it the next hour or so to 14.55, and I'll show you in a little bit that people do profit from my mentions. And then one of the best ideas of the day, I thought, one of our members, Chris Y, Y for his last name, CR. Never mind, I'm not going to spell it. Anyway, one of our members, Chris, private messaged me when KBH looked like this and said, what about KBH for a 15s turn? Okay, so I looked at it. I didn't project this one. I told everybody what Chris had said, and then I started looking at the chart, and I said, well, KBH is down several days in a row and then gaps down on earnings this morning. What was interesting about it to me, and this was my sort of taking apart, and this is what KBH looked like when Chris pointed it out. My comments were, well, you know, they bought it up at the open, and then it goes down, takes out the low of the day. But if you traded today, you know that the USO, the oil was cranking, something to do with Iran, and so the SPY started dropping. I believe that's what took KBH through the lows of the day. In my opinion, you sucked in some shorts here, thinking it was easy money after the big gap down. This thing was overdue for a bounce, and look how quickly those shorts get confounded. Breaks through the high of the day and then flags. Okay, so I said I agree, Chris. I like this better as a long than a short right now because of the action I just described. Switching to 15-minute candles, you have a high, lower high still. Would have been a 1022 trigger and a worst case stop of 1009. Little over a dime risk, and look what happens. 1022 over the next 30 to 45 minutes, all the way to 1110. I mean, almost a dollar move on Chris's idea. And I said in the future, Chris, I think he was already gone to work after posting the idea. But I said in our wrap-up video for our members, in the future, Chris, post your ideas in chat so everyone can see them. Because otherwise, I've got to read it and then pass it along to the group, and I don't have time to look at everybody's ideas. So if he put it in that main chat, you know, everyone could have seen it. But either way, I did pass it along, and it was a brilliant idea. I want to give hats off to Chris for that idea. And then just some screenshots from chat today. I remember to take a few just to show you, if I can figure out where my drawing tool is. Okay, I found it. When I talked about Lionsgate earlier, you can see some people, this guy, this Chris, different Chris than the one who made that one call, 40 cents on Lionsgate. Abraham took half for 30 cents. So we do have members, even if it's not an official call, take some of our ideas, and also bragging about our all-stars. Wayne did it again, watching MS on 5s long, and within the same minute he posts MNS at 83 cents. What I love about that is Wayne let everybody know, and remember, this puts out a chime, so everyone knows to look at chat, and you see the different colors, so Wayne's post stands out, okay? And in MS at 83. Show you the MS chart here. 5-minute candles. He took it, and at 83, that means 1983, which means Chris went long. Not Chris, Wayne went long, and his idea was right about here, stop right down here. And it just grinded higher the rest of the day. Morgan Stanley, 1983 entry, went to 2045. So another example of the all-stars just killing it. ZOZO, POT, aggressive traders, go long here to break a 45. I'm long here, and if it breaks 45, that should be your stop. And I'll show you what he was looking at here. And that was right at noon. And again, I only do this to show you how consistent and how great some of our all-stars are. POT looked like this at the time. Possibly putting in a higher low. Had support at 45. So not a bad place to look for an entry and a stop right below 45. I believe he was using 15-minute candles for the entry idea. Let me zoom in to show you how clean that was. Stair steps, nice narrow candle. And that was right at noon when this candle ended. Which was a 45.23 long, worst case stop 45.14. Not even a dime risk on a $45 stock, and from 45.23 over the next 45 minutes or so to 45.71. So hats off to ZOZO, and then you can see here him projecting or posting when he's taken as he scales out, and there's an example of him scaling out the last quarter for 40 cents. These are posts in the chat. I just taken some screenshots for all of our members to see and profit from. And also here you go. Wayne got 50 cents on the last bit of Morgan Stanley. And you see our all-stars don't only post entry ideas, but post sells as well. I'm going to stop babbling, man. I'm ready to start my weekend. It's been a long week. I keep thinking that was it for the calls. So let's leave it at that. Great day. Well, good day. We've had better, but no losing trades in there, and just kind of a slow afternoon. But anyway, morning picks working very well, and the all-stars continue to kill it. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next week.